Once again, hello, Mr. Unique. I see you. Top of the day. This is once again just welcoming everyone to, should I say, the fourth episode of Morning Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream. I am your host, CD Tate, and we will be going joined today by an amazing panel of guests. And if you are one of the guests that has been asked to be a part of the show today, please go ahead and request a box. I will bring you up shortly. Just a few things I'd like to always touch on and to make note of. Thank you. Is this part right here? It's not about race, color, or creed here, or your ability, disabilities, you understand, nor is it about your choice or preference in life. It is simply about us being able to share thoughts and opinions without judgment, even when we have different viewpoints. Please, no vulgar language or discouraging remarks along the way. Now, just to go ahead and get us started and get us into the mood, I like to start off with one of my personal favorites. And it's about that someone who's refreshing to think of in the start of your day. You see them when your eyes are closed, smell them as they cross your mind, and touch your thoughts. You can't help but smile when you remember they are in your life. Kinda like morning coffee. Once again, welcome to the fourth episode of Morning Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream. Today's boxed up guests are none other than, let me go ahead and put them out there. First of all, wait a minute, I don't see anybody in the box. Please request the regular box if you are here so I can introduce you, and bring you up. Please take a brief moment to get your cup if you don't have your cup of coffee, tea, or whatever beverage you will be drinking on this morning. Uh-oh. If you don't know which box, hit the little plus sign down at the bottom and it will offer you a guest. So hit the little plus sign when it opens up, it should say guest. 7-1. Oh, I see you. Top of the day. Thank you for the crown as well. Miss J, are you there? Mm-mm. Did we lose you? Miss J, if you are there, just hit the plus sign and it will open up the camera. Okay, let me check and see. Who else do we have here? Let me check, see who's actually in the stream right now. Quickly make sure. All right, we'll go ahead and get started either way. All right, as soon as she can request a box, that's fine. Now, all right, here she comes. So, introducing to you all none other than Miss J. Why Miss J? For you. I hope you in a safe spot, safe place somewhere.
I am in a safe spot, safe place somewhere. How are you guys doing
Thank
this
you.
morning? I don't got my coffee yet.
Uh-oh, yeah. You see, yeah, you're not ready. You're not ready. You're just getting started in your day. All right, Miss J. So just continue the talk point. What I definitely want to talk about is, of course, I believe I did forward you the topic that we would use, or the quote that we would use for the topic of the day. And that particular quote slash topic is, let's get into it. It's our greatest weakness lies in giving up. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. So, my first question to you concerning that particular topic of quote, and just before I get ahead of myself, first of all, let me welcome Miss J. Is there anything that you would like to tell anyone about you as a streamer or someone being on the streaming platform?
So I'm not a streamer. I'm new to all this. I don't know nothing about none of this.
Okay.
This is all new to me. I'm trying it out, see what it's about. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say or not say or whatever. But I do love conversation. I do love going over those difficult discussions, and I do love people. So hopefully it works out, and maybe one day I will be a streamer.
All right. So let me give you all a little bit of background concerning Miss J and my particular stream. One of the reasons I invited Miss J was because I really had an appreciation for her commentary and her feedback in the stream concerning some of the topics and things that we've had. And, you know, she's been very active and engaged in those conversations. And one of the things that she shared was the desire to have to possibly become a therapist or something of that nature, or motivational coach somewhere down the road. And some of the things that she was sharing with us, I thought were very insightful, and definitely either motivational or encouraging, or those things that just get you to thinking sometimes. So it's actually pretty awesome that she's new. I wanted her to, of course, tell you exactly who she was, and now you know she is Miss J. If you haven't taken the time to check out her profile, please slide in there just for a second. You're going to see a list of yous and a lot of things you should not do, or nor she will not be doing as well. All right, people. Thank you all once again, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, Miss J, basically what we have is this topic here. And what do you do with this topic? You're going to tell me your viewpoint concerning this topic. So let me go ahead and reiterate it again, once again. So first, let's talk about today's quote, which I said may match up with your view and how it matches up with your viewpoint in life. That's the most important part. How does this particular quote match up with your viewpoint in life? And I will go ahead and restate it once again. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. And I lost Miss J. And I'll take this as a moment to just re-request the box when you get a second, Miss J. And once again, this is, okay.
Lost connection. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine. Please continue. Did you need me to restate
All right.
that?
So, yes, please.
Okay, so basically what we're asking you to today, this morning, right here, morning coffee, is how this quote, you understand, matches up with your viewpoint in life. And the quote or the question is, our greatest weakness lies in giving up.
Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. I mean, I can't say it matches with my viewpoint at all because I don't give up.
So please
so I'm a
elaborate then.
consistent
Tell
fighter.
us about that.
All I do is fight. All I do is win, right? Because I never give up. I mean, I'm always fighting for everything. I fight for what I believe in. If you're my friend, you're my family, I fight for what you believe in. I mean, I'm a fighter. I've never been a person to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to give up because it's not working out. Now, I may redirect my focus, but I won't give up. So, you know, if I can't go 100% at something and actually figure it out or get it figured out, then I will phone a friend. That's what they call it. So yeah. I'll phone a friend to help me redirect that focus so that way we can both win. So, I mean, I don't know how that quote will pertain to me. That's probably somebody who has decided that, you know, hey, this is too hard. The road is too hard. I can't do this. I can't do that. But I'm just not one of those people. I can do anything. I can do everything. All I got to do is try.
Okay. So is there nothing particularly about that you understand, that quote that stands out to you as an individual? I understand that you win. I understand that you don't. And as you say, sometimes you may have to even redirect that energy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just redirect the energy. It's not really much about that quote that stands out for me, except for the fact that it's a reminder. It's a reminder to me just not to give up. It's a reminder to me to continue pushing. I mean, the harder you push, Your blessing is on the other side of your pressing, right? So the
Okay.
harder you push and the more that you go, you're gonna get whatever's meant for you. I had somebody one time in my comments tell me like, oh, you do realize that your profile is like shooting for the moon. I said, well, I'm shooting for the moon, but I'll fall between the stars if I don't get the moon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with that, right? So even in my losing, I'm winning. So I mean, it's all about perspective. It's all about how you think about it, right? So I don't focus on everything else. I focus on this. I focus on what I can do, and then everything else will come to me as I'm doing it. It's the energy you give off.
Ooh, you made a very good point right there. Just the part about saying, you understand, it'll come to you. You understand. Now, tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, I've worked very, very hard for a lot of things. And so sometimes I have to sit back and I have to slow myself down, slow my day down, slow my life down, and say, you know what? Everything that I'm chasing is evading me. Why is it evading me? Because I'm chasing it, right? The more you chase something, the more it's gonna evade you. If you stop for a minute and allow it to chase you, you will get exactly what it is that you were chasing to begin with. But you're just running too hard that you're actually not seeing, or you're losing sight of what you're really chasing. People don't understand that, but it happens. And I learned that. And that's something I had to learn at a very young age. So,
Now, ooh, still with the same quote, you understand, in mind, I want to take you to a specific time because I know this specific time, you understand, affected a large number of people. As a matter of fact, it affected the entire world. And this particular specific time is none other than 2020, you understand, in which we all experienced this pandemic. And again, what would you say was your experience in relation to the quote, you understand? If our greatest weakness lies in giving up, what was your experience during the pandemic? And if there's a reason that you have that mindset, you understand, or whatever you were dealing with, or whatever you were going through, please share that too.
so I was blessed during the pandemic. I can honestly say that I was one of those people that I didn't really experience none of the hardships that a lot of people did. I didn't lose my job, thank God for that, right? I didn't lose my property. I didn't lose anything. I took no losses. I actually took wins during the pandemic. And that's what I mean when I say it's all about perspective, right? I could have been one of those people that sat back and said, hey, you know what? I'm losing this, I'm losing that, I'm losing this. I didn't do that. I said, okay, this is a pandemic. Let me redirect how I'm going to utilize this opportunity given to me, like certain, government stuff that they were giving out, whatever. Let me see what I can do to push forward and move forward with what's being given to me at this time. There was a lot of people that lost family members, my condolences to them. I don't like the way that it was handled. I don't believe that it was handled correctly by our government, but that's a whole nother topic, whole nother situation, right? But me personally, I just continue to press forward. I continue to look at a lot of different positive aspects of the pandemic. People were like, oh, well, how can you see what's positive? I can tell you this. I'm a nurse, right? I'm an LVN. I learned in that moment that wasn't the job for me. That wasn't the career for me, right? Yes, it was hard to see certain things happen. I'm just not into bedside care. Bedside care doesn't work for me. But had I not experienced the COVID, I wouldn't, or experienced that situation, I would not have known that. I would have stayed for many, many years in a career that just wasn't for me, right? And then I would have potentially been miserable, unhappy, whatever. Once again, I don't see that as a negative. I see that as a positive, because guess what it did? It redirected my focus to where I was supposed to be. It didn't take me away from what I wanted to do. It just redirected me to where I should be, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of people who are in the nursing field still, and they're like, you know what? I should have got out back then. I should have got out prior to COVID. I have a lot of nursing friends, and they say the same thing. It was hard. It was difficult. It's not just difficult because you saw people dying all the time. It's not just difficult because you see sick people and you can't help them. It was difficult because there's a lot of hush hush that goes on behind them closed doors in them hospitals and them doctors' offices that you can't say nothing about. And that sometimes makes you compromise your integrity as a person, right? Just dealing with that. So, it's a lot that goes on with certain situations and certain careers that a lot of people aren't aware of. And sometimes we do have to be quiet. Sometimes we do have to shut up. Sometimes we have to suck it up and take it for what it is. So when they're saying, oh yeah, well, back to your topic. Okay, well, how did it affect me? I really can't say it affected me because I took wins. I didn't take losses.
Let me ask you this. You say that it didn't affect you, and thank you all that are just joining the stream. I appreciate you. You said that it didn't affect you, but could it have indirectly affected you? Like, for instance, those that you're making reference to now, those friends, those families, you understand? And I get it. Yeah, maybe not directly, but indirectly, as you just stated, you don't want to compromise your job. You don't want to compromise, that ethics or that could, relationship that you have. But at the same time, you're like, hey, that's a tough spot to be in. So how would you say that kind of work for you?
Well, I can say this. During the pandemic, I think a lot of people, right? And I'm just saying people in general, doesn't matter your nationality, doesn't matter your gender, whatever, right? A lot of people realized who they were and what strengths they actually had. And
Mhm.
I don't think that that's being spoken about enough, right? The pandemic made you become you, made you realize who you are, right? We have so many people that opened up all these different businesses, which is great. Congratulations to them. They may have lost their job, but they gained their career. You get what I'm saying? So it's about perspective and how you look at it. So I would say to all those people that were out there that was dealing with this difficult time, like, yeah, you think you lost something, but you actually won, baby. Because what before then were you thinking about opening up that business? Before then, you just had a business plan, but never planned to do the business. You get what I'm saying? So it's about perspective. Everybody benefited from it, even if they don't see how they benefited from it, they actually did. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people that did that poor me story, but those are the ones that are giving up. Those are the ones that gave up. You gave up. You chose to give up because guess what the government did? They handed you everything you needed on a silver platter and said, hey, let me give you this and see what you do with it. Let's see where you go with it. And guess what you did? You said, oh, I'll take it and go buy me a car. Why? You already had a car. You didn't need that. Why? You already had clothes. You didn't need those. I mean, it's only how many days in a week, how many outfits you need to wear. I know some people that wear one outfit the whole week. I work at home. I don't need to be changing outfits every 2 seconds. You think I'm about to go out and spend $3,000 on some clothes? I'm not doing that. Why? Because I don't need that. Because I'm very rarely out in the public. And when I am in the public, you best believe I got some nice outfits up in that closet, but I didn't spend all that money for them. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's all about how you take the tools that are provided to you and how you use them to your benefit and to the benefit of others. You know what I'm saying? If you can't bless you, bless somebody else. And then your blessing will come back to you because that's how the cycle of life goes. But a lot of people are just so focused on everything else and all the wrong things. I mean, it just never turns out right. But that's my
Understood.
perspective.
No, and that's why you are here. You understand, this morning is exactly that, to share exactly your perspective, your viewpoint on specifically this. Let me take another moment, also, once again, to welcome all of those that are joining the Morning Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream show presently this morning. As you see right now, we have none other than Jay. I call it Miss J in the box. And most importantly, the quote that we are using this morning to basically build this discussion around is none other than a quote from Thomas Edison. Now, I think pretty much know everyone is familiar with Thomas Edison in some way, form, or fashion, and the many of things that he is accredited for in contribution to society and the way that the world is right now, especially just having lights on in my house. All right. So, with that being said, I would like to welcome you all once again to Morning Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream. I am your host, CD Tate. And most importantly, here it's not about race, it's not about color, it's not about your creed, it's not about your ability or disability in life, nor your choices or your preference. It's simply about us being able to share, you understand, thoughts and opinions without the whole judgment thing. And even when, we have different views or viewpoints, should I say, and that's what's most important. So please be mindful of your language and no discouraging remarks or anything of that nature. This is all about support, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to continue to do exactly that. So, Ms. J, I like what you said in sharing your point about, that's one of the things I think we have to realize also is that it may not always affect us, but we have to, have that mindset also that allows us to see how it affects those around us, which indirectly, of course, that does come back to us because we really have to make hard decisions. So let me ask you, you know, with that being said, and let me give the quote for those who haven't heard it this morning. Once again, our greatest weakness lies in, you understand, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. And, I won't elaborate on it that much, but you have to think about it. The time, the point, or the place that you may have thought you understand about giving up. And it's just something to think about. Has there ever been a time? Has there ever been a point? Has there ever been a place? And one of the time points, should I say, that we used was simply just talking about what transpired during the pandemic. So that is just kind of somewhat of a recap for everyone that just basically entered the stream. We will continue from there. Now, Ms. J, we've talked about the point, you understand, of what could be your greatest weakness and where it may lie and so forth. But let me hit you with another follow up because I love to pair all my quotes with a second quote. You understand? Sometimes from the same individual, sometimes from another individual. It's all about who brings what I consider at that time the best viewpoint. Now, if you all are familiar with, if anyone is familiar with David Goggins, basically, he's known as a runner, and the mindset of a runner sometimes, I guess, can be very intriguing. You're out there, you're running miles on top of miles, and sometimes you may want to give up, or you may feel like, you're at your wits' end, or physically, you just can't endure anymore. This is one reason I love some of his information, and I love to read his quotes and hear him talk. So his particular quote right here said, "Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Everyone fails sometimes, and life isn't supposed to be fair, much less bend to your every whim." Now, let me repeat it once again for everyone because I know it was a long one, but it had what I consider to be meat and potatoes in it. And when you got meat and potatoes, it makes for a good meal. So don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Everyone fails sometimes, and life isn't supposed to be fair, much less bend to your every whim. Share with me, Miss J, you understand, first of all, your viewpoint on that particular quote, and then we will get into the meat and potatoes.
That particular quote is very deep. And the reason why I say it's very deep is because while there is some truth in it, right, and there's a lot of truth there, it's it's hard for us to stay focused on that, right? It's hard for us to stay focused on, okay, well, yeah, the world is not fair. We're not going to get what we want. I've been through some particular things in my lifetime that it's like, okay, well, why? But I kept pushing. But it doesn't matter why. When we look at the why and we start questioning why things are happening to us, we tend to cause a ripple effect, right? Like how you do in the water when you throw that rock and you got that ripple effect in that water. We tend to cause that ripple effect of, okay, now more things are happening and happening and happening and happening back to back to back to back, because we're questioning it. Why? We're not just allowing things to be. Once again, for me, I'm always about the positive. I have to say that I'm always looking at, okay, well, this is not happening to me, it's happening for me. That's the mindset that I've always had to keep. You know what I'm saying? I come from a very long list of people who were negative, right? And they fought against the positive. Everything with them is negative. Oh, this is happening to me. I got a tire. My life is my hole in my tire. My life is over, right? I can't make it to work today. It's lots of people that go through different things. You know what I'm saying? But for them, it's detrimental. My world is over because I got a flat tire, can't make it to work. I'm gonna lose my job, and then I'm gonna lose my place to stay, and then my kids can't eat. So you see the ripple effect in that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, I got a flat tire. Maybe God protected me from that car accident that just happened 20 minutes prior to on my way to work. I'm looking at it differently because I've learned to look at it differently. I've learned to look at the positive. You know what I'm saying? So going back to his quote and what he's saying, he's saying a whole lot, right? But what he's basically telling us is we don't have control. That it's not within our control, right? And once we let our hands go and stop trying to control and maneuver, then we end up right where we're supposed to be, fighting for the things we're supposed to fight for, not fighting against the current, but fighting with the current. We're going forward, we're going and pushing. But a lot of people, once again, my perspective, a lot of people don't understand that. So I don't know.
All right. So let me do a piece with you now. We're gonna dissect this particular one because it does have a lot. So I'm gonna start you off with the first point because it has a period behind it. And let's go directly into breaking this down. First of all, he says, don't
Okay.
stop when you're tired. What do you think about that?
I think that we all get tired. I don't think that we should stop, but I do. I agree with him. You don't stop when you're tired. You may take a break. You may put your head down. You may cry some tears. You may holler and scream and kick and everything else, but you can't stop. And once again, that's about redirection. Redirect your focus. Okay, you're tired. Maybe that angle's not working for you. Redirect your focus and try a different angle.
All right. So the next portion of the plate. Now he said right after that he goes, stop when you're done. So don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.
So when you're done can mean a lot of things. And the only reason why I say that is because the reality is, who's to say when you're done? Only you can determine what's too much for you. Only you can say, okay, you know what? I'm at my wit's end. I cannot do no more. I cannot take no more. Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has been through different things in life, right? Me personally, some of the things that I've been through, other people probably would have been like, oh, you know what? This is way too much for me. I had to stop a long time. You get what I'm saying? So they were done a long time ago, but I continued to press. Even though it was too much for me, I still continued to press, but they were done a long time ago. So it's all about everybody else and their own perspective and where they are in life, what they do, what they go through. You know what I'm saying? So
Understood. Just a reminder for any of those that are entering the stream right now, be mindful of your language or any discouraging remarks. This is actually a recorded stream, and this is, as I said, working to become a featured stream as well. Now, moving on to the next portion of that. How about this part right here? He says, everyone fails sometimes, and life isn't supposed to be fair, much less bend to your every whim.
when I was growing up, my mom, she used to always tell me, she used to say, Jay, guess what? Life is a turtle's race. I never understood that as a child. I didn't understand what she meant by that. I didn't know that life was a turtle's race, right? And so, the tortoise and the hare, you know what I mean? And how the tortoise decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go this route, but I'm still going to win because the tortoise still won, right? So when she said that and I was young and I was coming up, I didn't realize that there was more than, in her, one of her famous quotes, more than one way to skin a cat. So so when she said these things to me, I was just like, a young kid, like, what, mom, what are you talking about? Okay, this woman done went mad. She's crazy. Like, she's lost her mind. But as an adult and going through what I've been through, now I can see what she meant by that. And so when we bring it back to his quote, yeah, that's true. Like, we're not gonna win every race that we run. We're not gonna always be on top, and that's okay. right? It's okay for us not to win every race. It's okay for us not to, as long as we fought and got there, that's all that matters. We don't have to win, right? Because life is not about winning. Sometimes people get so confused, right, with, oh, I have to win, 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 win. Okay, well, in order for you to win, somebody got to lose, right? So what if the person that's losing feels the same way you do and they want to win, but now they don't have the same morale as you do, so they're doing certain things that you wouldn't do to win. You got to be careful with that.
Ooh,
You got to be mindful with that because it can
mm,
put you in a situation that you're not even prepared for. I've been there, done that, dealt with that before, so I already know. So you got to be very, very careful. Everybody wants to win, nobody wants to lose. It's okay. I'll take an L. I'll take a couple of L's if I need to, because guess what I'm gonna do? Redirect my focus to make sure I get to where I'm going. So, I mean, either way it goes, I'm going to get to where I'm going and I'm going to probably get there slowly. It's probably going to take me a little bit longer, but guess what? I'm going to be there. I might not be there the way you wanted me to be there, but I'm going to get there.
let me take you back to something that you said because I'm listening to you very with intent. Now, one of the things you said was even when I win, even when I lose, I'm winning. Share a little bit more about that particular piece.
So I can only go by example, right? And what I've experienced in my life, right? So I'll take it back long time ago. So I was a teen mom. I had my first kid at 15. Okay. Um, back that in that time frame, that wasn't desirable. That wasn't the life that you're supposed to have. You're not supposed to be a teen mom, blah, 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 this stuff, right? So back then it was like, okay, I was the black sheep. I was the black sheep in the school. They kicked me out because, oh, we don't want you here because, you're a teen mom and you're going to influence all the other girls or all the other teens to have babies at a young age, blah, 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 blah. That's what I went through. So it was like, okay, well, you guys kick me out. No problem. I stopped going to school. But I lost then, right? I lost out on my education, my high school education. But my press and my fighting and my continuing to move forward, regardless to what they judged me for, right? I'm a nurse now sitting before you. So even though I lost then, I won now. I'm still winning. You guys can't stop me. What you meant for bad, God meant for good. He said, okay, I'm not going to stop your purpose. Your purpose is still there. Your purpose is still there. You're going to have to try a little bit harder to get to it. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get there, but guess what? It's still there. You don't give up. And that's what I did. I didn't give up. I kept going and I kept fighting and I kept going and I kept fighting. And don't get me wrong, I had way more obstacles thrown in my way. You get what I'm saying? But it was because of my life choices. I can't blame nobody else for that. I made certain choices and certain decisions using my free will that got me where I was and got me in certain particular, I'll say, experiences, right? Because that's what it is. I take life as an experience. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just an experience. I'm learning. I have to learn because the only way I'm going to become something better is if I learn from something that's not so great. And that's unfortunate that we got to learn that way, but we learn that way, right? So I made a lot of bad decisions. I made a lot of bad choices, and in a way they're bad, in a way they're good. But guess what? Those bad decisions and bad choices, I still won. Why? Because I'm still where I wanted to be. Like I'm
Yeah.
still not losing anything, and in the moment it's very difficult to see it that way, right? Because I was in the moment and I was like, oh my God, life is so hard. This is too much for me. I can't do this. And then I started thinking, but it's not about where I'm at right now. It's about where I'm trying to get to, where I'm trying to be. And if I give up now, I'll never get there. Why would I give up now if I want to be there and I don't want to be here? I want to be anywhere but here. So let me keep pressing. And that's what I did. I kept pressing. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, that's where I'm at with it.
It does because, and I asked that because that is a familiar quote, should I say, that I use myself. Even when I lose, I'm winning. And the fact too, I know that you have never been in my stream because I don't know, I have this thing about remembering who's when and where. You have never been in stream when I personally have said that. So to hear you state that yourself, you understand as a frame of mind, it was very bam, it triggered me like, wow, okay, someone else feels that way in life. So I thought that was very important just to hear your perspective on that and see what you really thought, you know what I mean? And I guess it's pretty good to realize that, even as you continue in life, regardless of what the struggles have been, it's not one that allows you to feel as if life is over. And what I'm hearing is you having the ability to embrace whatever that situation is and to take it from there, to build on it, you understand. And no matter what, you've found yourself fighting your way through, as you said, almost as if it was a quote from a movie, I fight. And I guess that's a good thing, because sometimes you have to question what it is you're fighting against. And sometimes, is it that we're fighting ourselves? Are we fighting other people? Are we fighting day-to-day living? The truth be told, life is going to be no different than what we was just reading from the quote that David Goggins, well, pretty much said. He said, "Don't stop when you're tired." So the truth about that is you're going to get tired. That's understood. That's the reality of life. You may be dealing with some things and you're going to get tired. Okay. But he said also, don't stop when don't stop when you're done. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Let me make sure I get that right. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you are done. And that is a mindset. Thank you. In a matter of speaking, is just to where you want to be and also where you are in life. Now, the other part says everyone fails, and sometimes life isn't important. It's supposed to be fair. Life isn't supposed to be fair, much less. So the thing about it is we can't go through life, I guess, in a matter of speaking, and saying expecting that everything will happen exactly the way we want it to. And even if it does not, you understand, going back to the first two portions of his quote, even if it does not go the way you want it to, don't stop when you're tired, you understand. Stop when you're done. That's really what it becomes and what it boils down to. So, once again, thank all of you that are here right now, that are just joining Morning Coffee, no sugar, no cream. Let me tell you a little bit about Morning Coffee, no sugar, no cream. Morning Coffee, the idea and the concept here is, how you start your day. And think about what your mindset is when you get started. You understand? Usually, when you get that cup of coffee and you sit down, people cut on the news, sit back and relax, and just, picking up on what. But how about you? Now, the news is the details of what's going on with everyone else. How about you? When you sit down and you have that cup of coffee, especially if you meet someone out for that morning cup of coffee, there's conversation, there's dialogue going on. And that's what this is all about. When I say that morning coffee, and me preferably, no sugar, no cream. I take my coffee straight. That's what it's all about. And we sit and we have that dialogue, that conversation. And it's amazing, you understand, the conversations that you can have in the start of your day. The other amazing part is how it can motivate you, how it can get you going, how it also initiates the thinking process with your mind. And should I say, it begins to prepare you for the day. Now, we will continue. Now, also, I would like to say this here for any of you all that are here, if you'd like the opportunity to be right here on Morning Coffee, no sugar, no cream, by all means, reach out to me and let me know. As I said, I select people with a purpose in mind. And one of the things I truly enjoyed about Miss J in the stream was the fact that she was very open, in sharing those things, no different than she shared with us this morning. And those things are very important. A lot of us go through things, but we're not willing to share. And as I have talked about it, and I will continue to talk about it, the sharing is the most important thing that we can do in this world, in our lives. It may not only help us, it helps someone else. And in return, that's us helping someone else, but it's also helping ourselves. Miss J, I guess in summary, is there anything else additional that you would like to share just in the experience of this conversation this morning?
So just going back to what you said, I'm trying to remember the thought. So you were saying that it's about Dang, I lost it. I was listening to you talk and then I lost it because I should have wrote it
My
down.
apologies.
Uh, no, that's okay. Um, so basically, it was you saying about how people. Gosh, what was it? I'm sorry, I just can't even remember. But what I was going to say is, it's not so much about. It's to me, it's not so much about what you're chasing. It's about how you're chasing it. It's not so much about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. We all want to achieve, we all want to gain, we all want to get, we all want to reach goals, right? But we just have to look at how we're doing it. The way that I do something is definitely not going to be the way someone else does something. It's definitely not going to be how another person, may see me going about it, right? So it's just perspective. Everything always goes back, and that you'll hear me say that a lot because it's about perspective. It's about how we see things as individuals, because each person has their own individual experience and individual life. So we're going to always see it from different fronts, right? Different storefronts, I shall say, right? Everybody walks past that window and everybody sees a different outfit in there, and everybody's like, oh yeah, well, I like that one. No, I like that one. Why do you like this one? So then it brings up that conversation, and that's what it is. It's about perspective. It's about each person being their own individual person, and that's what I love about people. Everybody is their own individual. Everybody has their own understanding of something. And so I want your understanding. I want to understand the way you understand, not because I want to be you, but because I want to make sure that I'm not so narrow minded and closed minded that I do not understand you, right? Because in order for me to embrace people, I have to understand where they're coming from. I can't understand where you're coming from if you won't tell me, if you don't want to put it out there. So it makes it very difficult when I'm dealing with certain people who, they want to hold a conversation, they want to talk about certain topics, but they don't want to be transparent. I'm a transparent person. I don't have nothing to hide. Why? Because guess what? I'm not here to please you. I'm not here to please you. I'm not going to tap dance for you. I'm here to let you know what I've been through. This is what I've been through. This is where I'm going. This is what's happening. And it doesn't have to be to your liking, right? You don't have to love me. You don't have to hate me, but you will respect me. But I'm only telling you this, not because I want your sympathies, not because I want you to do, I'm telling you who I am. So that way you understand that it's okay. I'm a safe space, right? As long as you know me, you're going to give me the same trust that I gave you. I'm trusting you with me, so trust me with you. That way we can dialogue. We can't dialogue if you don't trust me. I can't dialogue with someone who is closed off. I can't. That's why in your one of your streams that I was watching, the gentleman, he was like ranting and raving and going off, and I'm like, okay, dude, our conversation is done. Like, I don't have anything else to say to you because you're closed minded. You're closed off. I'm not going to fight your walls to get to where you want me to be. Like, I'm not going to do that. That sounds like a trap to me. I'm sorry. I don't like being trapped. So you know what I'm saying? So yes, I'm a fighter, but it's just certain battles that I'm just going to back up and let you have that. Yeah, you got that. That's you. You know what I'm saying? But yes, bring it back to what we were doing and what we're talking about today. I think everyone has fight in them. It's just some people have to look at what they're fighting for. It's not about why you're fighting the fight. It's about what you're fighting for. What is it that you're fighting for? If you don't even know, then you need to go sit back down and do some self-evaluation to try to figure out what you feel is worth the fight to you. But that's it. That's all I had to say.
Oh no, that was actually pretty awesome. And just as we come back and recap, I definitely want to touch on two of the particular quotes that we did use this morning. And once again, understand this. It's not the point of me trying to say that Miss J is either right or wrong in her view of this particular quote, you understand? But it is simply about sharing. That's it. Imagine you understand someone just mentioning something, and right off the back, you start talking about whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you agree or disagree. However, there is always something to learn. And this is what I think. You take whatever piece that you can from something, and it's all about the viewpoint you understand and how you see things, and that's what you move forward with, the viewpoint, that you have, which is more important than anything else. And I appreciate Miss J taking the time and having the time this morning. I saw you in the rush of your day as well as trying to get yourself settled. But nevertheless, I appreciate the fact that you were able to be here and share with us this morning. And just a small recap for everyone that is here. Let me touch on the particular quotes that we used this morning, and then I will summarize us up. First of all, the first being that actually came from Thomas Edison. And Thomas Edison's quote was, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up." You understand? Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. And it's just a matter, you understand, of whether or not you are going to give up or you are not. There are some people, you understand, in life that refuse to give up, no matter what your circumstance or your situation is. Again, they refuse to give up. You understand? She talked about the situation, with the car and the money and so many of things. And to me, it becomes a point of how you utilize anything that you have in life. Sometimes, if I were to take the quote that we used, maybe back one or two streams, I think by Bob Marley, and in that particular quote with Bob Marley, I have to make note of something that he said, and actually a quote from Muhammad Gandhi. Now, in Bob Marley, he said, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice."
Right.
I have to
Right.
repeat things, you understand, because sometimes the message may not have been received the first time, but hopefully the second time it gets through. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. And one of the scenarios that I gave to Miss J was just talking about the pandemic. Now, Miss J said that she didn't, you understand, experience a lot of things during the pandemic herself. However, in her sharing, she shared how family and friends, you understand, basically, experience things and difficulties that may not have been her own. However, those affect us as well. Imagine when you know that you're struggling sometimes and someone else comes and tells you that they are struggling. And sometimes it becomes a difficult place to be, you understand, because do you make it your decision, you understand, based on your situation, or do you make it in consideration of someone else's situation? Just something to think about. These are the types of conversations, you understand, you have when it comes to morning coffee. No sugar, no cream. But however, let me please continue because I'm not finished. Now, the other part of the conversation goes into not only just what you understand, what we were talking about from Thomas Edison, we were also using the quotes, you understand, from Tony Goggins. And as I said, Tony Goggins, the runner, I want to call him an extreme runner because he talks about some serious situations. I've heard him talk about situations where your foot or your ankle possibly being damaged or broken. I believe one of the situations he was talking when he was I think may have been as a training as a Navy SEAL, but taping, basically taping yourself up to keep yourself going, and how it's the perseverance, it's the mindset, and it's something to think about and consider each and every day that you get up and you get ready to go. What is your mindset? How do you wake up? What do you wake up with? What's the first thing that crosses your mind in the start of your day? So I'm hoping that you all will allow morning coffee to be a part of your day and in getting started. And Ms. J, before I begin to do our last 2, 3 minute wrap up here, I just want to ask you, was there anything additional that you may have wanted to share? And then I'll take us out.
I just want to tell everybody have a great day. Stay positive. Don't look at the negative in your situation. Look at the positive. It's gonna be harder to pull out sometimes, but y'all got that. I mean, it seems hard, right? But you guys got this. Like, don't always look at negative. Always look at positive. And yeah, some negatives gonna come, but that's okay. I always use the quote, miss me with the BS. So that's what I tell my day. Like, I'm not doing that today. You know what I'm saying? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, that's pretty much what it is. So, just look at the positive, you guys. Stay positive, think about the positive. And even if it's hard for you to get that positive, take a breath, slow yourself down, slow your thought process down, slow your emotions down, slow down. We're in a rat race, and there is no rat race. You're not racing against nobody but yourself. That's detrimental. Stop fighting yourself. Just slow down.
Thank you. Thank you and thank you. Y'all heard what she said. Look, stop racing against everybody else. And even in extreme situations, that is the most important thing. You understand? The race is against you. But stop looking so much at everybody else and look more at you. What are you happy with? Don't be happy with what someone else has. Be happy with what you have. And if you don't have enough, by all means, put in the effort to get yourself to where you want to be, but not based on the view that you see of everyone else. People, I like to start off the stream, you're the show, should I say, with this, and I would like to end it with this as well. It's about that someone who's refreshing to think of in the start of your day. You see them when your eyes are closed. You smell them as they cross your mind and touch your thoughts. You can't help but smile when you remember they are in your life, kind of like morning coffee. Well, people, I'd like to thank each and every one of you that have been a part of Morning Coffee with No Cream this morning. Please be on the lookout. Check your inboxes. I may be coming for one of you once again to sit down and have morning coffee with, and of course, to share your viewpoint on a particular quote just to get the day started. Thank each and every one of you. Again, thank you, Miss J, for making time. No, 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 let me rephrase that. We don't make time, we manage it. So thank you for managing time to sit down and have coffee with me. Now, I don't know what you were drinking out that thermos over there, but thank you for making time, for managing time. Thank you once again. And hopefully I'll see you in the stream as we continue. All right, people. Hey, just wrapped up with morning coffee, no sugar, no cream. So I'm just saying officially this is the end of the morning show. However, I will put up the box. I'd like to hear some of you all's commentary and feedback as we progress and move along. So by all means, if you feel free, you'd like to touch on any of the quotes that we may have used this morning, by all means, feel free to share.